Hello and welcome. This is the podcast number 1 of our Being Authentic series. And I'm so happy, so excited to start that journey with you. We have gone through incredible times. Obviously, this is nothing new. And that was so unexpected. Yet, it's an amazing experience to kind of have a look at who we were, who we have been, and how we experienced this lockdown with the COVID and everything. So obviously, if we're talking to the whole of the planet, we have major differences, and we feel, we empathize, we have compassion, and we send our love and light to the people who live in dire circumstances, below the survival needs. When your survival needs are not met, it's very difficult to think, to have access to the higher centers of the brain. What I'm saying is really for the people who live beyond the survival needs, beyond torture, beyond extreme circumstances, abuse. We send our love to everybody who's gone through tragedy, everybody who has lost a relative, the grief, the loneliness, not being able to be there, not being able to have a proper funeral. We feel for you. Everybody who's gone through the disease, everybody who's been on their own dealing with it, everybody who's got some level of mental illness and who has felt this experience as a real struggle, verging to a nightmare for some. We are very aware that it's been extremely difficult for some people, excruciatingly difficult and painful. But for some, these times have been a shutdown, but a shutdown which has allowed them to think, to slow down, to go within, and to become much more aware, much more connected, much more in line with who they are or who they want to be, what this life is really about, what is working in their life, what is not working, and generally a moment to just be, and maybe allow, observe, and deep dive into the emotions of the collective, the fear, the paranoia, and come out of it stronger or not. It doesn't matter. I think we can all agree that if you were comfortably confined or comfortably working from home, it really was an opportunity to have an insight into who you are, into what your world is about, and what the bigger world at large is about. I think we all agree that life was changed at some level, and the way we live it daily, the way we interact with people, because who would have thought? None of us would have thought that the basic need, the basic habits of being together, of giving ourselves hugs and kisses, of just having fun, spending an evening together with our friends, with our loved ones, was going to be taken away from us. Literally taken away. Oh my God. Where we become a potential carrier for a virus which could have a serious effect on us and people around us. Yet, for me, it made me aware of the very thing that is in songs, that is in films, that is in poetry. The best things in life are free. Just giving a hug to your friends, to your family, relatives, being close, holding hands, just sitting around a fire, having a drink together, having a meal. Oh my God. At least for many people, we can massively enjoy all of this now. Nature enjoyed it as well, because nature literally cleansed itself, healed itself, and we've seen amazing things. The dolphins in the canals of Venice, in a clear water, the Himalayas being seen from India, which hadn't happened in the last 30 years. Clear skies. Nature has just cleansed itself. What about you? How did you experience it really? Now is the time to think. We were all forced, in a way, to go within, to be disconnected from our daily distractions, from maybe the daily stress. Although we realized that for some it was more painful. But how did you experience your daily life? Did you have time to think? Did you have time to ponder? Did you have time to be? Did you have time to just step back a little bit and observe? Did you have time to make changes, in little changes or big changes in what you do and how you do it, or who you are and how you think and how you behave? Did you notice things about yourself that maybe are not so beneficial? Do not serve your highest good. What did you experience and who were you? This is really interesting, and one of the first things I want to really share is that judging ourselves doesn't take us anywhere. It doesn't help, even though we do it all the time. So these questions are really important, and as much as you can, just be open and really feel and be quite honest and be authentic. We don't know what's going to happen next. My inner feeling is telling me that there's going to be more. Maybe not in the form of a virus anymore, but there's definitely going to be collateral damages. We all know that the economy has been crashed. So there's going to be more challenges coming our way. And this was a first taste, a wave, an opportunity, or a challenge for some to see what we're made of. At the end of the day, I really feel that our society hasn't prepared us to really deal with challenges in a way that is not too emotional, that is not too dramatic and tragic. And this is the reason why I started running some classes around the themes that I really love, and I developed in a book that is coming out very soon. Because these themes really helped me tremendously to grow, helped me tremendously to know how to deal with a crisis, with a challenge. Because let's face it, nobody goes through life without experiencing crisis. And there are many tools, many strategies, many scientific discoveries, research, which are amazing guidelines as to how to navigate times, challenging times. And we can all grow. And that's the beautiful thing. And not everybody's going to be joining me on that, because a lot of people will feel threatened. And we have seen with the COVID that a lot of people, for example, have somehow lost a bit of faith in themselves when it comes to immunity. Again, I'm not judging. I really profoundly believe that we're all doing the best we can, wherever we are. And compassion is the way, the royal way, the paved way into happiness. But how do we get there? There's so many questions. So in the classes that I run, I present some of the material that I have found extremely empowering. The research that I use as well with my clients. I'm a kinesiologist, so I'm somebody who helps people find a resolution to a crisis or find balance when they're in imbalance, whether it's a physical imbalance, a energetic imbalance, a spiritual imbalance, an emotional imbalance, working on all of these levels. And I find it absolutely fascinating, and I would like to share that there are so many helpful scientific material and deeper questions that can really take us into a much more peaceful way to experience life. But obviously we have to start with recognizing, acknowledging that we've all got within us the power to connect. We all have within us a connection to something that is bigger than us. And we can all start trusting that connection. And as a matter of fact, that is what I start with all the time, because to me, This is the first step onto the path, onto the inner journey. Intuition. I will quote Sri Aurobindo with his beautiful quote that says that the first principle of true teaching is that nothing can be taught. Nothing or nobody can teach us anything. They can only reawaken in us that connection, or more precisely, they can only reveal. And this was the one thing that literally changed my life when I was writing my book, because I decided to be a blank page, a blank canvas, and allow Source to write through me, that bigger aspect of me, whom I ended up calling my inner wisdom. That inner wisdom is in all of us. And that inner wisdom is that part of us who maybe gives you butterflies in your stomach when you make a decision and it's not quite right for you. You don't follow it, maybe. And then when the situation goes slightly wrong, you just know. You just know that you had that feeling, that premonition, which was telling you, this is not really good for you. This is what I'm talking about. We've all experienced it. We all know what this is. But we've lost our connection to that part of us because we're very much stuck in the brain. The brain is important, but the brain is a tool. The brain was meant to be our servant. And when we start to live life from the level of trust and intuition, we have to go down into our heart. Live life from the heart. It takes time, yes. Is it absolutely easy? You can change just like that? No, maybe not. But we are going to take baby steps into that direction, because it is so amazing to start to relax, to start to open up, to start to allow, let go, let be. And this is the title of my book, Let Be and Let Love. Is it easy? Not always. It took me 5 years to write the book. Was I challenged by beyond my comfort zone? Oh my God, so many times. Did I cry? Did I feel I was pushed? Yes, massively. Do I regret any of it? No, absolutely not. I am absolutely thankful. So grateful for that experience. So grateful. So let be, let love. Where do we start? Developing the connection with my intuition. And it doesn't have to be difficult, but all the different materials, all the different science and scientific research that I'm going to present you with is going to help you to build up different strategies, different tools around this. So just starting with closing your eyes and asking and really going within. For a start, that's maybe the first step for some people. Just understanding that it is all within. It starts within. As a matter of fact, nothing outside in this world can be felt if it's not an extension of who you are. And the second quote I'm going to tell you about is Anais Nin. I love this quote, which says that you do not see the world as it is, you see the world as you are. This is big. This is a big, 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 big. Again, we will develop this. These truths are so simple, but yet so deep. It's incredible. I can give you an example which explains this in some way. If you've lived in a capital city and you've experienced using the tube daily, you will know that it's quite a stressful situation, because there are people everywhere, and on the escalators you have people who are busy, who are angry, who are impatient, and you have people who are quite serene and daydreaming and going on with their lives as usual. In London, you stand on the right side and you let people go up on the left if they're in a hurry. And undoubtedly, there will be moments where you are pushed, you are elbowed, it's not comfortable, but some days you're absolutely fine. You can go with it because you're in a very balanced state. You can even laugh at the fact that that person is so stressed, so busy. What's the point of running and pushing people about when they're going to save maybe 2 minutes at the end of the escalator? And some days, when you yourself have been challenged, you've been stressed, you've gone through problems, you feel like telling them things that I'm not going to say on this podcast because you're pissed off. And it's a very different experience. What has changed is just your state. Your state will determine how you experience life. This is something which is absolutely amazing. We will be talking about David Hawkins and his map of consciousness. Absolutely beautiful work. But for now, let's just go back to your state right now. Our state determines how we experience life. It's quite basic, easy to understand, although the problem is that we do react unconsciously, quite automatically to certain things. So what is your state right now? Just close your eyes, go within, and just establish, just connect, just observe. What's your state of being right now? How would you describe it? And just start breathing a long deep breath. And drop into a positive, beneficial quality like relaxation, like happiness, like empathy, compassion, love, light, whatever it is, and try breathing again and feeling that quality. Really feel it and imagine. Now we're using the power of your imagination, and the imagination is very, very powerful. This is something again we're going to talk about because this is really worth knowing. The brain cannot differentiate between what's real or imagined. So imagine you're breathing that quality through your heart. So it's an imaginary breath that comes through the heart and out from the heart. And breathe through a few times while I'm explaining what this is about. Carry on the breathing. This is called the heart coherence. As we breathe through the heart and we focus on an intention very consciously, we align our brain with our heart. And if we breathe through it with consciousness, it will really align the breath, the blood pressure, and this is something that is measurable. This is called heart coherence, has been developed massively by HeartMath. They're amazing. It's an institution which studies the effect of the heart energetically on our well-being as an individual and the well-being of a social group or a global well-being of the planet. Fascinating stuff. Again, we'll talk about them. Heart coherence. Just breathe and connect to that higher quality, that positive emotion. So there's so many things to say. We obviously have to chunk them down in a way which is going to be digestible. For some people it's going to be very easy. For some people it's just not going to be interesting, and that's absolutely fine. And for some people it's going to be quite inspiring, hopefully. So the thing is, the new paradigm which we've moved through already now, really, is the paradigm that there isn't one single truth. There are many, many truths. As many truths as there are people on this planet, really. Because what I believe is true for me might be different, slightly different, or very different from your experience, from your truth. But it doesn't make either wrong, as long as we agree that when we talk about the fact that there's no right or wrong anymore, everything we're talking about is not something which potentially harms anybody else. So it's always within the field of the highest good of everybody involved. So within that field, there is no right or wrong. It is okay for me to have my set of truths, my mindset, what actually works for me, and other people to have a mindset which is quite different and allows them to have a different experience of life and might even be the opposite of what I believe. But what about just being curious, just being open, just kind of wondering, and knowing that ultimately unity is through diversity. We can be unique and you can be united. And if we recognize our uniqueness and we unite, oh my God, I believe that that's what we've missed until now. We can know what is our truth and make it our desire to honor others. When we know that the color of our skin can be different, and we can honor it and celebrate it because it makes us more beautiful, that difference. And if you do not agree with me, I can celebrate it because through our discussion and mutual respect, we can both broaden our mind, our gender, our sexual orientation, our sense of identity can be different from each other, and it's okay because we can teach each other compassion, love, and know how we're complementary. Our culture and religion can be different. We can share and marvel at the beauty of our own experience and grow through it, through our differences, which when we celebrate them and when we honor them are just interesting facts. How could you make a painting with the same color? What about a mosaic with the same stone? Whatever our color, whatever our culture, religion, our gender, our sexual orientation, our sense of identity, whatever our age, our size, our dimensions, our social status, our qualifications, our experiences, and many more. On this planet, we really share violence, isolation, poverty, abuse, overpower, discrimination, racism, sexism, lies, manipulation, corruption, suppression, oppression, and more, and more. And you know that, I know you know. But we share as well the color of our blood, the atoms from the stars, the trees, the birds, the sea, the rocks, the sky, the cloud, nature, colors. And what we want is, for the majority of us, love, compassion, having enough to eat, having a roof over our head, being able to sing, being able to dance, being able to be happy, being able to make this life the best life ever, have the best shot at being ourselves, the best version of who we can be, having all that it takes to show up and to share with the world the best of who we are, recognize our weaknesses and love them for what they are, and recognize our qualities, our strengths, and recognize for what they are, and live from that place and take steps every day towards our goal, our dreams. That's what we all want. Only a tiny minority will disagree with this. So there's much more similarity, unity in all of this world than we even think of. I think it is a time now to go beyond our differences. And one of the best research that I have found to really start the questioning of the inner journey is the work from Sonia Lyubomirsky in her research in happiness. And I will leave you with this. How much do you think circumstances affect happy people? By what percentage do they feel affected by what happens to them? Think about it. And in the meantime, maybe make a little list of the circumstances which you feel that you could do without, or you could improve in your life. And we'll talk about that next time. Don't forget to breathe, and don't forget about the heart coherence. Bring in a lovely, elevated, positive emotion, and imagine you're breathing it through your heart, and it will spread through the whole of your body, and let it pervade your whole body, and just feel and expand. Start going within and start interacting with that intuition, which is in all of us. We all have it. Go within and enjoy being within, without judgment, without censoring, one step at a time. I'm sending you love and light, vibrational hugs, and I'll be talking to you soon. Namaste.